Hey, what's up YouTube, and welcome back to my new video. And it's been a very long time that I haven't uploaded any video, and I do apologize, but sometimes life does get in the way. But in today's video, we're going to go for something very specific, very detailed haircut, going from this to this. Now, before we get into this video, I'll really appreciate if you can be able to like, comment and subscribe for more videos like this and more detailed haircuts and product reviews that I'll be doing in the future. Now, enough with the yapping, let's get into the video.
Alright guys, so here we are. My client's hair is overgrown. As you can see, the hairline's out touched. Now I need to put everything back into place. Now the first mistake that you can be doing right now, which is going to end with a bad result, is going to start with the clippers. Because the hair is everywhere, you don't know where to stop that fade. So first of all, I'm going to wet the hair, and what I'm going to do is basically section the front part of his hairline and then slowly go backwards, as you can see from the video that I'm going to show right now. So by doing this, it's going to help me to basically debulk certain parts of his hairline, so that when I do dry the hair and then I move on to my trimmers, I can be able to line it better, which makes it much easier for me. So as you can see on the video, I'm basically sectioning, but I don't need to go all the way back. I can move to the halfway of his head and leave it then, because I only need it to debulk to certain parts, because the main part is where I can move on to the trimmers. However, it's the small things that really matters the most. So don't take it for like, oh, it's okay, I can just move on to my trimmers. No, first of all, use the scissors so that you can be able to help yourself when you move on to the trimmers. Now, make sure on the corners of each side is balanced, because when you do dry the hair, it can be really uncomfortable and getting the trimmers and trying to straighten it, because you're just basically making challenge for yourself. So first of all, with the scissors, make it straight. It doesn't need to be 180 degrees, because you're going to move on to the trimmers later on. Alright guys, so as normal, when anyone asks for a haircut, we go back to the scissor cuts on top. We're going to be cutting from the front all the way to the back. However, as on a human's head, the back of the skull is higher than the forward. So I'm going to be taking a bit more hair at the back. Now, you got to make sure that the hair everywhere is straight, because you can put a texture if you like, but if you don't, it doesn't matter. It's not big of a deal. But once you do dry the hair at the end, this is where it comes to place, because once you put powder on, you want to make sure that the hair is spiky or it's a bit wavy. So it's up to you, but make sure the hair is straight. Otherwise, you're going to see imbalance, you're going to see imperfections. So these small things does matter the most. Alright guys, so now we move on to the hair drying. So make sure to dry the hair properly and to flatten every part of his head, because when you do later move on to the clippers, this is going to affect the fade, because you have not dried the hair properly or you're not flattening it down properly. So make sure you do that perfectly, and then we're going to move on to the clippers. So now I'm going to start with a number 2 closed, and as you can see on the corner of his hair, I'm going to stop the fade over there, and I'm going to drop the fade at the back of his head. Now slowly I'm going to open the leather, and I'm going to flick out that line I've just created. And for this video, I'm basically using the Wall Gold Magic Clipper, and I've been using it for almost 2 years now. It's an amazing clipper, it's never disappointed me, so I'll recommend you guys getting one also. But as any other clippers, try to use it lightly. Let the clipper do the work for you. Now, as you can see here, I'm going to move on to my thinning scissors, and I'm going to fade out that line I've just created with my number 2 and 2.5. So it doesn't need to be perfect, I just need to fade it out so that when I do move on to my half guard, I can be able to see where I need to blend. So starting over here, I'm going to do the same thing, close the leather, go up a bit, and then slowly, I'm going to bring the leather down, and I'm going to go higher each time. But I don't want to go too high, because I want to use that fade a bit low. So when I do come to shaping the hairline or the C-cup, I want that fade to be defined. I want that fade to stand out. So I'm going to use it low, not high, because by going too high, I'm not going to get that C-cup basically. Now I'm going to use no guard. I'm going to do the same technique over again. Close, slowly come down and go higher each time. So now we move on to our number one guard. Now this time I'm going to open the leather. So I'm going to do the opposite to what I did before by starting with a closed leather. I'm going to open the leather this time and I'm going to make a line so that I don't go higher than this. And I'm going to close the leather and slowly attack that line. So why did I do this? Is because I don't want to go higher than what I need to be. So slowly open the leather and attack that line. So now I'll move on to my 1.5 guard and I'm going to open the lever again like I did for the number one. And why I do this is because I don't want the fade to go any higher, so I'm trying to control the fade. Now once I've done that, I'm going to close the leather and slowly open the lever each time, attacking that line. It's a very nice simple forward step and I hope you do get it right. Alright guys, so now I'm using my thinning scissors. I'm going to thin out his hairline. This is going to help me that when I move on to my trimmers, I can be able to make that line straight. Because there's a lot of hair, it does require a bit of thinning. So just one hit and that's it. You don't need to go too much. Now make sure to brush off their hair, otherwise it's going to irritate your client. Now we're going to move on to our trimmers and I'm going to be using the wall high vis trimmers. Honestly, these things hit crazy. I would 100% recommend it. It's worth the price. So what I'm doing right now, I'm starting from the middle. I'm keep on brushing that hair and slowly I'm going to be moving to the right. However, I'm going to go back and forth, keep brushing that hair and I'm going to hit where the corner is. And when I move on to the left hand side of his hairline, I'm going to do the same exact thing. Start from the middle, go back and forth, keep brushing until you reach the corners of his hairline. So here I am moving on to the left hand side of his hairline, and what I'm doing, I've just tilted his head a bit higher. This is because I want us to see inside the hairline rather than outside. Now it's funny saying this because there's different angles, there's different ways you can be able to see this. Now you got to see it from every single angle. You got to put his head down, put his head up, so to be able to get that line straight. And keep brushing because it's very important that we need to get that hair coming out and get it trimmed. So now move on to the corner. What I'm going to do is use the corner of my blade in order to get those little details trimmed, because it's those little things that matter the most. And another way I can do this is to use the comb and keep brushing out in order to get those hair out and I can trim it. Now I'm going to use go into the C cup. What I'm going to do is start from the top and then I'm going to do it from the bottom, and I'm going to make a little nice curve. I don't want to push anything back. There's no need for me to push anything back because he's got a nice solid hairline and everything's perfect. So there's no reason for me to push anything back. So here's my final part, and this is where perfection will take place. Honestly, your razor blade will define the haircut on the next level. Now make sure not to push the hairline back because there is no need for you to push it back. As you've done it with your trimmers, you've done the line, just meet the razor to the line and that's it, and remove any small little hair on his forehead, and make sure to do the C cup. And another way to do it is to pull the skin so you can be able to do a nice little curve. So here's the final result guys. As you can see, nice and straight hairline. I've put some hair powder on top, mess it up to whatever you like. I've got my own way signature of doing things on top, so it's up to you how you want to do it. Now as you can see on the side, nicely blended, hair on top is nicely textured. I've got my hairline crispy, straight, and for the final part I'm using my wall HAIRLINE trimmers. So basically what I'm doing right now is just going over any little things that needs to be done on the corners. Because the blade is very small, I can be able to meet it. So just going over those tiny little details to get everything nice and crispy. So there you have it guys, everything's done. Nice straight hairline, all in detail. And if you did like this video, I would really appreciate to like, comment and subscribe and share it to your friends. And I'll be making more videos like this and product reviews in the future. Peace out.